Okay guys, so now you should have already completed the Check My Progress on pages 793 and 794, and now we're going to go over it. So your pencil and eraser and anything like that should be put completely away, and all you should have out in front of you is the Check My Progress and your red pen. So right now, first thing, if you did not write your name, number, or date at the top, write it with your red pen. And then let's check number 1. It says, use the word bank to complete the charts about the metric system of measurement. So what we're doing is we have a box for length, mass, and capacity, which we also know as volume. And what we're doing is we're going to go through and we're going to put each of these units into the correct box. So is it a unit that measures length? Is it a unit that measures mass? Or is it a unit that measures capacity? So we'll just go in order. We'll start with centimeter. Well, centimeter is a unit that measures length, the distance from one point to another. Now, gram. Well, we know that gram is a metric unit that measures mass. Kilogram is another unit that measures mass. Next is kilometer. Kilometer measures length. Here we have the word mass. That is not a unit. So we would not put that word anywhere. Mass is not a unit. It's a type of, it's something that we measure. So we're not actually going to put it in any of these boxes. Next is milliliter. Well, milliliter measures capacity. And now millimeter. Millimeter measures length. Now we have meter, which also measures length, and liter, which we know measures capacity. I'm going to give you a little hint. Each of these types of measurement has a base word that if you see that base word, you know it goes with either length, mass, or capacity. The base word that you're looking for to see if you are measuring length is the word meter. We have meter, millimeter, kilometer, and centimeter. The base word you're looking for with mass is the word gram. So if you see gram, you know that you're measuring mass. So gram and kilogram. With capacity, it's the word liter. So if you see liter, you know that you are measuring capacity or volume, because we have liter and we have milliliter. So look for those key words when you're trying to figure out, are you measuring mass, mass, length, or capacity. Okay, let's go down to number 2. So number 2 says, use the word bank, so that same word bank from before, above these charts, or these tables, really, to write each vocabulary word next to its abbreviation. Okay, so let's see. The first one we have is MM. Well, we know if we have 2 letters and the first one is M, and we're talking about the metric system, it's always going to stand for milli, this prefix milli. Then that second M, so if it's the only M or it's in the second, or it's the second letter, we know that it stands for meter. So MM is the abbreviation for millimeter, which is a measurement, which is a unit of length. Now we have M capital L. Well, just like before, we know that the first M, when we have 2 letters in a metric unit abbreviation, stands for milli, the prefix milli. Then if we have a capital L, whether it's the second letter or it's all by itself, we know that it stands for liter. Just because this L is capitalized does not mean we have to capitalize this. There's a reason for that, so that you don't get it confused with another thing that gets abbreviated. Like, I think it might be length. I think it's length. That is a lowercase L. but I also think length is a cursive L, so I'm not exactly sure what a non-cursive lowercase l is, but it's like that T for ton. We capitalize it because we don't want to think lowercase t, which is an abbreviation for time. That will come in later for you guys when you're in different kinds of math. Now G, we have a G all by itself. When we have a G all by itself and we're trying to abbreviate metric mass, we know it means gram. Whether it's all by itself or it's in the second letter in the abbreviation, it means gram. This capital L all by itself, we talked about up here, it is an abbreviation for liter. Remember, gram and liter are the base words that tell you whether you're measuring capacity or mass. Now, cm. Well, we know the second M stands for meter, but a C that is the first letter of a 2-digit abbreviation for a metric unit. That C stands for cented, this prefix cented. And then we already know the second M, or an M all by itself, stands for meter. So cm is the abbreviation for centimeter. Km. Well, if you have a K as the first letter in a 2-digit abbreviation of a metric unit, it stands for kilo or kilo. The prefix kilo or kilo, however you say it. And we know an M as the second letter in the abbreviation stands for meter. It only stands for milli when it's the first out of 2 letters in an abbreviation, because if it's by itself, it means something else. Okay, again, we have that first letter K, which we know stands for kilo, and then a G in the as the second letter or all by itself means gram. So kg is the abbreviation for kilogram. And the last one, M all by itself. Well, so far we've seen that if M is the second letter, it stands for meter. Well, just like if G or L are the second letter, it means gram or liter. If M is all by itself, it means meter. Okay, make sure that you know those, excuse me. Make sure that you know those abbreviations so that you can use them. Okay, let's go on to the next page and we'll look at number 3. So number 3 says, Adriana went on a hiking trip. Excuse me. Which measurement best describes how far she hiked? 10 kilometers or 10 meters? Well, we know the answer is 10 kilometers or km because 10 meters isn't very far. If you're going on a hike, you're not only going to walk 10 meters. It would probably only be 10 meters from your car to the entrance to the trail. It's not very long. Our classroom is probably 10 meters from the board to the windows in the back. That would not be a very interesting hike. Whatever you can see from 10 meters away, you don't have to move closer to see it. And usually when you go on a hike, you go to see something that you can't see from where you started. So if you can see things that are 10 meters away. You wouldn't go on a hike just to see something that's 10 meters away. You would just casually walk over or just stay where you are. So the correct answer is 10 kilometers, because we also know that kilometers is like a walking or hiking or driving distance. So that is the most reasonable answer. Number 4, which is the more reasonable estimate for the mass of a dog? 20 grams or 20 kilograms? Well, we know it's not going to be 20 grams because 20 grams is like 20 paper clips. That's not very heavy. You can hold it in your hand. A dog, and we're not talking about a tiny baby newborn puppy. We're talking about just a regular old dog. A dog usually does not fit in the palm of your hand. So, 20 kilograms would be a more reasonable mass because 20 kilograms is about the weight of like 20 textbooks, and most dogs weigh about that amount. Okay, at least medium-sized dogs do. Okay, number 5. Raul has a bottle of salad dressing. Is 700 milliliters or 700 liters a more reasonable estimate for the capacity of the bottle of salad dressing? Now I know this second part isn't in yours, but we're going to answer it anyway. It says, give an example of something that represents the other capacity. Well, so first we have to figure out what's more reasonable for a bottle of salad dressing. It's definitely 700 milliliters or 700 drops of salad dressing rather than 700 liters. 1 liter of salad dressing would probably be way too much, more than you'd ever need. So 700 liters would like fill your entire refrigerator. You wouldn't have any room for anything else, and then you'd probably still have bottles of salad dressing all over the house. So the more reasonable estimate for the salad dressing is 700 milliliters, which remember is lowercase m, capital L. Now we're going to do this second part right now. Give an example of something that represents the other capacity. So what I want you to do is real quick, with your red pen, write an answer to that second question. Give an example of something that represents the other capacity. So not 700 milliliters, but 700 liters. So right now, pause this video. Remember, I will be looking to make sure that this is done. But I won't count off just because you have red, because I'm going to know, okay, they're using their red pen to answer this question that I'm asking them to answer that wasn't in their book. So right now, what I want you to do is on the second line, give an example of something that represents the other capacity. So 700 liters. Pause this video, do that right now, and then I will tell you an answer that works. Okay, so my first thoughts when I read 700 liters would be a kid's swimming pool. So one of those little blow-up ones or those plastic ones that you can buy at the store and just put in your car and put outside. Okay, if you don't have kids' swimming pool, that doesn't mean you're wrong, because there's lots of things that we could say are 700 milliliters. I'm sorry, 700 liters. Another thing I could say is maybe a smaller water tower. A smaller one, not a big one, but like a small water tower. Or a trough that cows might drink out of on a farm might be 700 milliliters. I keep saying that. Liters. Okay, let's move on to the very last question for our Check My Progress. Told you this would be quick. We're only choosing most reasonable. We don't have many units to even choose from, so it's real quick. Okay, so go ahead, let's look at number 6. Okay, so now we're on the very last question of the very last Check My Progress of your 4th grade career. So let's do it. Number 6. Which of the following holds about 800 milliliters of water? So remember, milliliters is about 1 drop from an eyedropper. So which of these holds about 800 drops of water? We have a plastic cup, a dog bowl, a baby bottle, and an eyedropper. Well, we can automatically say that no, the eyedropper does not hold 800 milliliters because it really only holds maybe about like 1, depending on the size, to 10 milliliters. We can say it's probably not the cup because a cup is probably a little too small. This cup probably only holds maybe about like 100 milliliters, so it's not the cup. And then a baby bottle probably holds about the same as this plastic cup, so that would also be a little too small. So we know it's going to be the dog bowl. Now that would be a larger dog-sized dog bowl, because the smaller ones like this probably don't hold 800 drops of water. But a larger dog bowl would definitely hold 800 drops of water. Okay, that's it for the Check My Progress. Last Check My Progress of 4th grade. We have 2 more math lessons, and then we're done. So if you have any questions about this lesson, this Check My Progress, reach out to me later today between 1 and 5.